Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Komal and today I'm here to clear few doubts about growth restricted babies.
Okay, ma'am, I have one doubt. We can see in scan report will get less liquid and the growth will be restricted. Even though after antenatal checkup and nutrition value is good, still they are showing some reports like this. So what will be the condition?
Yeah, so this is a very common doubt which a patient comes to us with, that they would have taken routine checkup, they would have done the nutritional care, everything, medications are all taken, but the growth scans eventually or at the time of delivery can show that the weight of the baby is not good enough or the lichen is less. So this we call as growth restriction. By scan we identify this when the expected fetal weight of the baby is falling less than the 10th centile, or the cause here can be either constitutionally small baby, that is small for gestational age baby, or it can be growth restricted when the expected fetal weight is less than 3rd centile, or when it is less than 10th centile but associated with Doppler changes or Lycra abnormalities. So this usually happens because of placental insufficiency or what we call as placental dysfunction. So when the embryo gets implanted into the endometrial lining, so if the implantation process has not happened appropriately, so there can be such dysfunctions which manifest much later in pregnancy in the form of growth restricted babies or less liquor around the babies, or the mother can show changes of hypertension, blood pressure increase. So these are the changes that happens. Sometimes this can manifest quite early, either in the form of an abortion, and the cardiac activity can stop, or it can also present as preterm labor, where the onset of labor happens earlier than term, and PPRM, or rupture of membranes.
Ma'am, can you tell me who are the risk factors, which kind of mothers are in risk factors?
So there are few women who are actually at risk for such complications. So one among them is those with BMI of less than lower BMI, less than 19. Then those who are obese, those who have previous history of stillbirth and IVF pregnancies, and those with chronic kidney disease, those with chronic hypertension, and those who are abusers of alcohol or cocaine and drugs like that. And so these are all the risk factors for development of these placental dysfunctions.
So ma'am, how we can prevent these things?
So these days we have a lot of tools to identify the women who are at risk. So one is based on history, and also we do screening in the first trimester of pregnancy, where we do uterine artery Dopplers, where we are able to identify the women who are at risk for placental insufficiency. Uterine artery Doppler either can show the notching, bilateral notching, or increased versatility index. And also we do a marker called as PAP-A. So if the PAP-A values are high, then these women are also at risk. So such individuals, we have to put them on low dose ecosprin, that is 150 milligrams, and continue it throughout pregnancy. And also we need to follow them up with serial ultrasound monitoring starting from 28 weeks, every 4 weeks, and if based on the requirement, we might have to do even more frequent ultrasound every 2 weeks or so, to make sure that these babies are properly diagnosed and treated and delivered at the right time in order to prevent complications like intrauterine death.